Slack and you Major welcome you to the My Type of Hype podcast, where we celebrate hip-hop, not just the hype.
How y'all feel out there?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the My Type of Hype podcast. As always, me, your boy Slack in the building, and my co-host extraordinaire over on my left-hand side. What's happening, brother?
Very good, man. We're here once again. My Type of Hype, the podcast that celebrates hip-hop and not just the hype. Slack, what are you saying? Cool?
All good, man. Can't complain. All is well. All is blessed. What we got going on this week?
So, yeah, another exciting topic and episode for you this week. We're going to look at posse cuts this week, man. We love a good posse cut, man. You know what I'm saying? Hip-hop's hip-hop. We love different artists coming on the track and just doing their thing, man. So they're definitely exciting times for me. I remember there was a stage when I'd be looking at albums, man. It was nice to see posse cuts on there. I'd get really excited, man. So yeah. And just to clarify as well, me and Slack were talking off air as well. We feel it's important to mention a posse cut. The actual definition of a posse cut, so I've heard different things flowing, is 3 or 4 MCs on the same track that are not from the same crew. Okay, there's been all different types. I've heard people say to me now they need to be from the same crew and all that. Now, 3 or 4 MCs on the track that are not from the same crew. So no Wu-Tang song is a posse cut because they're from the same crew. Yeah, just to clarify. But yeah, that's it today, man. Posse cuts.
I agree with that. That would be difficult for you to put Wu-Tang or, Tribe or whatever on saying it's a posse cut if they're, okay, makes sense. Yeah.
So yeah, man, we just thought we'd chop up about that. Basically, Slack will say a track, I'll say a track, pull out, and we'll say what our favorite verse is from that track and our least favorite verse from that track, and just keep rolling like that. It's a bit of fun, man. So when we put this out, we're hoping you guys comment as well and say what your favorites and least favorites are as well. Start up a bit of discussion because it's interesting, man. So yeah, that's it, bro. We'll roll on like that whenever you're ready.
All right. All right. The first one I'll go for would be. I'll go out of left field a little bit. I'll go for Van Gundy by Eric Sermon. So there you had Eric Sermon, Sly Scott, I think it was Lady Luck, PMD. Yeah, a few people. So that was on the Eric Onassis album. And that was always the song that made me go back. Like, damn. Even at the beginning of the tune, Eric Sermon was like, posse cut, and then the beat drops and the beat was hard, so I was like, yeah. But then I heard this brother Sly Scott, his verse is crazy, like super good, but I haven't heard anything from him since. Like, he killed a couple of songs that he was on the Music album. He had a verse on there.
Yeah.
He had a verse on that Van Gundy tune. He's had a couple, and every time I heard him I was like, oh, I want to hear more of this dude, but never heard anything more from him. So Sly Scott will be the best verse. The worst verse, that's tough. PMD's verse was good too. So that's tough. I might have to say either Eric. And it wasn't that it was a weak verse, he just wasn't as good as everyone else. But he made, so it's fine. So that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's fair.
But yeah, Van Gundy, I'll go for the first one.
Okay. The reason I'm laughing when you said that song straight away, bro, is because, as most of you know on the podcast, we don't plan, we don't say we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We just say, let's talk about this as a topic and a rough breakdown. So we don't know what each other's picking. So the hilarious thing is to kick the whole show off. I don't even remember that song, bro. I can't even comment, bro. I think I would listen to that album, right? Real talk. I've listened to that album once, and I'm an Eric Sermon fan, as most people know. I don't know what it is about that album. I didn't even know about it till way after it dropped.
It came out of nowhere. That's why it was one of them albums that just dropped, and everyone was like, "Who the hell is Eric Onassis?" Because he never called himself Eric Sermon on the album. It's Eric Onassis. So everyone was like, "Who is that guy?" And the only reason I knew it was him was because It's literally got the Death Squad logo on the front. And
Yeah.
it was all produced by Eric Sermon. So I was like, okay, he's just got to be a
What
mod.
is it?
I think that's why a lot of people still didn't know about it, because they were like, I don't know who Eric Onassis is. So they kind of just didn't bother with it, because there was no real buzz about it. There was no real singles that dropped off it. But he's got some tunes on there. Like, he's got some proper. Yeah. He's got DJ Quick on there. He's got Exhibit on there. He's got enough people on the album. Yeah, man, I like it.
I can't remember the year it dropped, man.
That would be around 99-ish, around that kind of time.
Jeez, yeah, that totally. I didn't hear that till way after, and I know in my mind I can picture it now. I think I must have spun it maybe once. I never went back to it. I never went back to it out of dislike. I just don't know what happened. I think I just got sidetracked and never went back to it. So I can't even give a fair assessment of that track. So there you go. There's the honesty and the truth for the podcast. I can't comment.
Left field, man.
Yeah, man, definitely. So, but you know, I am going to do after this. I'm going to play the track. Yeah. So okay, cool.
Scott's first, and tell me what you think, man. That verse is crazy.
100%. All right, brilliant. I'm glad. That's good. All right, so I'll go first then. This is definitely going to be one you know, but whenever people talk about Posse Cuts, this is one of the first songs that come to mind. Banned from TV. Off the Noriega. Bro, I love it so much, man. I remember when I was because it dropped 98, and I started college around 97, and then I first started to drive around 97. And I remember clearly, man, me and my brethren Lennox, shout out Lennox. We always used to say, we got to learn to drive, man. What's the first song you're going to play? And I remember I used to say, as soon as I pass my test, I'm going to blast Banned from TV, because that beat is just ridiculous, man. I'm not the biggest Swiss fan, but probably one of my favorite Swiss produced tracks. I love it, man. Favorite track, and it's a hard one because everyone goes hard on that track. Everyone. But my favorite track, it has to go to Pun. There's not many times when Pun is featured on a track and he doesn't have the strongest verse. So yeah, I'm definitely going to go with Pun on that one. He killed it, man. He killed it. So Pun on that one. And then my least favorite was easy. It was Noriega on that one. Even though it's his track, I think that's a couple of times for me, man, where the actual host, the person who owns the track, has got the weaker verse. But he just weren't saying nothing on the track, man. He's got a sick voice, we know that, and he's entertaining in himself. But after them strong verses, Kiss and Styles, Nature,
Pun,
Cameron,
he didn't have a chance.
Yeah, and then to put him last, it was just a bit like, nah. I did at the time love the shout out that he gave to Westwood, not because I was a Westwood fan or nothing like that, but I just loved any connection. Now, the whole America UK connection is second nature now. We don't even really get that gassed when we see it. Do you know what I mean? But you know, bro, for us, mid to late 90s, any sort of UK US collaboration, we were gassed, even if we didn't really even check for the people. It was just like, rah, it's good to see this happening. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it was very us and them for a long time. So yeah. Definitely, yeah. Noriega weakest verse for me, but love that track. So
yeah,
that's my first one. Innit? Who would you say?
What had the best verse?
Yeah, who's your choices on that one?
Yeah, it'll be the same, man. It'll be Pun first, and then I'd have to say Nori was the weakest. Yeah, it'll be them two, I'd say for sure. Okay, let me think of another one that might not be on your list. All right, I've got to go for. I could pick from two here, but I'm gonna go for Beast from the East. Lost Boys, Redman, A+, Cannabis.
Yeah,
it's pretty obvious whose verse I'm gonna say is the best. Pretty obvious. Cannabis. That was. I think, was that the first time I'd heard of Cannabis? I may have heard a freestyle here and there.
Yeah.
But this was the first time I think I heard Cannabis. And I remember being on the bus, going home after buying the album. It got to that, because the rest of the album was pretty meh. So when it got to that track, I think that was like track 3 or 4. It was quite early on in the album. So when I heard that, the beat was hard. And I was looking forward to it anyway, because I saw Redman was a feature. I didn't really know Cannabis. I kind of knew A+ because he had a little song out at the time, I think, but it wasn't nothing I was really checking for.
Yeah.
Not the A+ from Souls of Mischief. The A+ that was like the child
The
rapper.
child rapper. Mm.
But his verse was kind of hard.
It was, bro. Every verse was hard.
His verse was hard.
Actually,
He killed
it. Was.
I can't remember who wrote for him. If it was Tretch. Someone used to write for A+. I can't remember who it was. But
Yeah,
whoever it was that wrote that, yeah, they killed it. That verse was sick. But he delivered it well. Yeah, the weakest verse is Mr. Cheeks, man. I've just for me, I know people have said, yeah, he's this and that, whatever. I heard someone say he was like one of the greatest storytellers in hip hop. I was like, come on, man, let's be serious, man.
Renee was an excellent song, but that don't make you to a storyteller.
No, it doesn't. And even like some of the lyrics in there, like Shorty studies law and shit. I was like, what? In other words, Shorty studies law.
Wants to be, yeah. That used to make me laugh, bro. She wants to be a lawyer. In other words, studies law. That's funny.
So yeah, his verse didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
It was like, if you're the weakest link on your own joint, then something's wrong. You know what I mean? So for me, Cannabis as my kind of introduction to him and his style, and just he went on for how many bars, and he was just saying some crazy shit. The MC so ill I got AIDS scared to catch me. I was literally like, what the fuck? What did he just say? Like, I had to rewind that verse so many times, man. Man was chatting about being dope since Bob Marley had a fade. Just kind of crazy shit, man. Just crazy verse. And I think anyone that's heard that verse would have to say, yeah, Cannabis. People try to tell me Redman got it. I was like, Redman at that time was my favorite MC, like hands down. And there's no way you're telling me that he had a better verse than Cannabis. That's Cannabis's song. Simple as that.
You think of Cannabis and you think
there's no doubt. You think of that intro, man. Yeah. Dude was chatting about, he existed before Neanderthals was drawing on walls in caves and shit. Just come on, man. He ripped the shit out. So yeah.
He killed it. Yeah, ridiculous, man.
That's a good track. I don't even need to ask you. You probably got the same.
Same. Cannabis, that verse is disgusting, man. The bit where he was like, I make you question any and everything you ever believed in. It's just like, and certain times that the beat would just drop. It's just, it was
killed it.
A beast, man, on that. Yeah, it killed it. So I'd agree. Dope track though. I actually think everyone killed that. I know you don't feel Cheeks like that, but at first I thought Cheeks is actually sick. Like Legal Drug Money, I thought, he's not an incredible lyricist, but he's got a sick voice, and I love this flow. Do you know what I mean? And Legal Drug Money is a personal classic for me, and I think he doesn't put a foot wrong on the album. There's definitely a massive dip on Love, Peace, and Happiness for the quality in my opinion. But I'd say he had the weakest verse, but still, I don't think it was a bad verse. I think it was the weakest, but yeah, good choice. Love that track. Okay, so I'll go. So I'm gonna go with 4, 3, 2, 1. Go with that now. Once again, one of my favorite Posse cuts, obviously, why it's listed. So that's LL Cool J, DMX, Cannabis as well, Method Man, Redman, Master P, even in it.
He wasn't on the version. He wasn't on the original. They only put him in for the video.
For the video, that's right.
Yeah, that wasn't on the album.
No, it wasn't. No, it was on the video. But I liked that, man. I liked it because around that
out of place. I didn't get it.
It did, but there was something I liked about hearing his voice. It did sound out of place, but I think around that time, as I've said on here, I've never been a big like No Limit fan or follower, even like that. But around that time, I did have a little bit of an interest in like Master P and No Limit. I think around that time they were just everywhere, weren't they? Like 98 time. So it's a bit hard to avoid. But I actually bought a couple singles and a couple albums around that time, and I'd never done that before for No Limit. So I think when I heard them on that, I think it was on the video version. Yeah, I was like, this ain't even too bad. But yeah, it weren't on the album version, which I think it should have been, but it wasn't. I think Eric Sermon produced that as well, didn't he? 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now, to be honest, Eric Sermon has produced a lot of the dopest Posse cuts.
Mm.
Reservoir Dogs. He
Mhm.
did 4321.
Yeah.
Did Headbanger,
Mhm.
which technically isn't a Posse cut, but
Yeah, but I hear you. Yeah.
he's done his due when it comes to, he did with Keith Murray, Redman,
Mhm.
Rhymes.
Yeah.
So he's done a few.
Yeah, he's done a few. Yeah, I think he maybe wrong, but I think he done this one. Yeah, 4-3-2-1. But yeah,
He
hard
did,
track.
yeah.
Favorite? Say that again.
Favorite verse? Who's your favorite verse on there?
Yeah, favorite verse. I'm gonna go at DMX on that one. Once again, I think everyone kills it. If I'm not mistaken, this might be the first time I heard DMX, unless it was 24 Hours to Live, Mace. Whatever came first, my memory's failing me, but whatever came first, it was either 24 Hours to Live or this. But by the time I heard this, though, when I heard DMX, I was like, nah, this guy. And when you listen to the track again, bro, it's not even like you listen to how Redman's rapping and all Cannabis and all these different, you know what I mean? Like the track's hard, everyone's spitting, but there's just something about DMX's presence and his flow and his voice just stay out. As soon as he comes in, bro, he just kills it. So yeah, my favorite verse, DMX, and my least favorite is LL Cool J. And I got a lot of love for LL, man. It's not even, but there's a few times you'll see where I think he's got the weakest verse, but I just don't really feel the verse, man. Even including Master P, I'd still say LL's verse is my least favorite on the track, man. But yeah, what are you saying? 4-3-2-1. Favorite, least favorite.
Yeah, big tune. One of my favorite Posse cuts. The beat was so un-Eric Sermon, like that a lot of people didn't know that it was him for years that he produced that song. Favorite verse. I like the way DMX came in, but his verse seemed kind of short as opposed to everyone else's. It was kind of like came in with the stay out the dark and run it clown and all this kind of stuff. But when it comes to an actual verse, it's either Meth or Red for me. Yeah, I like some of the shit Red was saying. Yeah, one of them two, either Meth or Red. Even Cannabis's verse was good.
It's hard.
Yeah, that's tough. I'm not sure who had the best, to be honest with you. But the weakest, I would say, I don't know if I'd include Master P, because, well, I guess I can include him because he was on there, but it just wasn't on the album version that I heard initially. Yeah. But the reason I would say LL Cool J's verse was the weakest is because that was pussy shit, as far as I'm concerned, what he did with Cannabis.
What he done, yeah.
Like, for you to change your verse and then this kid that you've invited to be on your album, that is weak, bro. Like, if you had a problem with him, there's ways to go about it. Like, you could have just released a separate diss track or something, but to change your verse on that album to diss him when he didn't have any wind of it, I can understand why Cannabis was pissed, because that's a sucker move.
Of course, man.
Yeah, I didn't respect
all because of the misinterpretation. Let me borrow that mic from your arm.
Like, man was showing nothing but respect. Like, how is that? Like, nah, I wasn't feeling none of that from LL, man.
Yeah,
man.
That
was some bitch move, man. Wasn't feeling
100%.
So yeah, fuck LL for that. So I don't respect that at all. So that would be the reason I would say that was the weakest verse on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. Your turn.
All right. I'm gonna go for another one slightly out of left field. And I'm gonna go for Throw Your Set remix by Cypress Hill.
Love it.
So that's another Eric Sermon.
Yeah.
Eric Sermon produced Posse cut.
Killed that.
So there's what was it, Muggs? I don't think Muggs did that beat. I think that was Eric Sermon.
No, I think that was Eric Sermon, you know. I think it was Eric Sermon.
That sounds like Eric Sermon beat. So you had Cypress, Be Real on there, MC8, Redman, and Eric Sermon.
Yeah.
So I remember this was about 95.
Yeah.
And on the Cypress Hill album, the Throw Your Set song is completely different. Like, the beat's different.
Not the one,
It's totally different. So when the video came on and it had Redman, because again, I was a Redman fanatic at the time. So I was like, oh shit, Redman's got a verse on here. So I didn't know what to expect. I thought it would just be the same song, just with a couple different verses. But the fact it was completely different was hard. And then Redman's verse, bro.
Bro, he kills it.
Just had to respect it. Just had to respect it, man. Just like, yeah, Red is killing everything. Like, no one on that tune came even close to what, and just the way he just delivered it, and just the shit saying, yeah, Redman, easily the best verse on there. The weakest verse, I would probably have to say, oh, that's tough, man. I would say MC8, and only because, not because of his verse per se, but because when his verse comes in, the beat kind of changes. And it
they do that. Yeah.
It kind of ruins the flow of the song. So I don't know if they did that because his flow was a little bit kind of slower than everyone else that was on the track, because everyone else was kind of up tempo. And, you know, when 8 raps, he's a little bit more kind of, he's not as upbeat as a rapper as like Redman, for instance. But he's been on a couple tunes with Redman, because Redman was on his We Come album too. So they sound good on the song together. But yeah, I don't know. Master Ace's verse just Master Ace, MC8, sorry, MC8's verse. It wasn't not good. It was just the way the beat kind of, the bass line stops, then it's just kind of the drum, and it kind of stops a little bit, then it starts again, and I just think that kind of messed with it a little bit. But yeah, very difficult to pick a weakest verse on there. What about you, though, man?
Yeah, hard track, man. Because he done that little beat flip on everyone on their verses. They all had a little. I remember Redman had that. Yeah, he had the How High, was it that How High beat for a little bit when he went funked up to spot, right? The hype is individual to leave. Yeah, I think that. But yeah, and then the MC was kind of like the drummy bit, but yeah, it was a bit empty. Redman easily, yeah, man, definitely Redman easily. Just he murdered that, man. See, I'm gonna actually have to go with probably. It might even have been Be Real on this one, man, for me, for my least favorite. And I'm sure anyone. I was gonna say anyone who knows me probably knows that I'm big on voices, man. So like, if you got a good voice, it's easy to listen to. And B Real's got one of the sickest voices in the pop for me. I think that. So if he's just got a half decent flow with a voice like that, it's always going to stand out. Do you know what I mean? But if I'm looking at the track, MCA, I know what you mean. But I'm probably going to go at Be Real because I did actually enjoy MC8's thing. But I'm going to put my hands up and say a lot of it is probably the video as well. I loved MC8's bit in the video. Do you know what I mean, with the car and the West Coast, that feel. I just loved how that flipped. But yeah, I'm gonna say Be Real for my least favorite, and easily Redman for my favorite. But yeah, that's a good shout. Love that track. I think it was on I bought the Illusion single just for that, because like you said, it weren't on the album. Yeah, it was on the flip of Illusion or something like that. Oh, love that. Okay, my turn. So I'm gonna now go with, I'm not picking an LL, I promise, but I'm gonna go with I Shot Ya. Once again, disgusting tune, man. I Shot You is just, I love it. When you get a Posse cut and everyone delivers, it's just like, you know what I mean? It's just what you want. So my favorite, bro, you sitting down? I just wanted to make sure you were sitting down and you was.
If you say Fat Joe, I swear, I'm cancelling the show. Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. At all.
To make sure, innit? You're a friend, man. To make sure you're rested and you're sitting down, innit? But yeah. I've got to say it, bro. Fat Joe for me, man.
Oh,
Fat Joe, bro. Listen. For ages, it was Keith Murray. Yeah, because I just loved how he comes in. I so always quote how he came in that song. Yeah. And then obviously Prodigy's verse, Say No More. But I'm going to say it, bro. The reason I said Fat Joe, quotables in there, the way he comes in for me, like, please, listeners, if you agree with me, back me up, yeah? We know Prodigy's verse was
no one agrees with that. No one agrees.
We'll see. Let's see. we know Prodigy's verse was hard, goes without saying. But I just felt like the way Fat Joe just came in, man. He was just like, it was almost like my time. I just think whether he wrote it or not, you know, Pun's there in the background. Pun might have wrote it, I don't know. But I don't think he did, to be honest, though. That don't sound like Pun's pen. But just the way Fat Joe came in, I just think he killed it. And even that, I'd rather be feared than loved because the fear lasts longer. You know what I mean? I just love it, man. So I'm going to say Fat Joe. And my least favorite, once again, LL. I actually think LL's hard in that song. As always, LL's a hard rapper, man. But yeah, the MCs on that track, Keith kills it. Redman kills it. Sorry, Keith kills it.
Prodigy.
Fat Joe kills it. Yeah. Prodigy kills it. Foxy kills it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, first time I heard Foxy as well. We didn't even know who she was at that time. So I remember
oh shit, that was before Reasonable Doubt. That was 95.
Yeah, bro. This was like 95.
Yeah.
I didn't know I didn't know who Foxy was at this time, but she mentioned the word Jewel. And I thought I remember me and my sister was like, that's got to be her name. Like, she must be called Jewel. And we're looking out for this Jewel person. I don't even know her name. But yeah, that's the first time I heard Foxy and she killed it. But yeah, they're my choices.
That could be, you know, because I think the first time I heard it was on that Case tune, Touch Me, Tease Me, that remix. But I can't remember.
Yeah, that was 96.
Because that was 90 Professor soundtrack, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That was 96. This LL was 95.
Yeah, you might be right, bro.
First time I heard, for me personally, first time I heard her, I didn't know who she was, but I thought, she's hard. Do you know what I mean?
Because it was 96 that she really blew up. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, hardest verse. Keith Murray, man. I'm here to make $1 out of 15 cents. Like, that's just the craziest way to start the verse.
Know. And let my balls hang like I'm He killed it, bro. He killed it.
My verbal combat is like a mini mat to your back. As soon as one of you bitches tried to overreact. Oh, man, he killed that. He killed it.
Trust me, he killed it.
Like mini mat to your back and he just kind of swings to the camera like
that. Yeah.
Keith Murray, man.
Even the way he ended it.
That's my favorite verse on there. Prodigy's verse was dope. Like, that was the first time he was chatting about Illuminati, but my mind's so secret society, try to keep that I'm a state incognito places they bro. Some sick verses on there, man.
Trust me.
Foxy came in doing her thing, she killed it. Fat Joe was just weak to me, bro. Compared to that level of MC and like Keith, Prodigy, Foxy killed it. And then Fat Joe just comes in with his, what was it? He's stronger than these weaklings, and it's like, come on, man.
I loved it, bro. Nah, he killed it, bro. Not lyrically. Nah, you weren't like the best lyrically, but my favorite verse, his was the verse that got me gassed, that got me hyped all the time, bro.
His would be the one verse I'll be like, skip that shit.
Oh, man.
LL's verse was good too, where he was like, was that the tune where he was like, female rappers too? I don't give a fuck, boo.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I was like, like anyone could get.
I'm like, this guy, man. You got a female MC in your track and you're saying that. Like, what's he done to you? You know what I mean?
Females too, and I don't give a fuck. I was like,
nah, I thought, bro, you're mad. That was harsh. Yeah.
I respected that. Because he was doing songs for the ladies then, so that was like the last thing you'd expect to hear from him at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was dope. Yeah, it's easy for me. Keith Murray. Well, not easy because Prodigy's verse was very dope. The video was dope, like just all black and white.
Sick.
Just looked like it was in some grimy basement somewhere.
Loved it.
We just ain't got shit like that happening no more.
Nah, man. Videos are not like that no more, man. Trust me. It's all about your money and all that. Holding decks of money. We don't care about that, man. Give us them dirty basement videos.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, man, I've got those two for real.
Okay, cool.
Tough choice, but Keith Murray, like that. Every time I hear that song, yeah, I think that verse.
He starts it off brilliantly, man. He does a great job.
So good. Okay, so let me try and think of one that's not too flipping obvious, man. All right, so I'm gonna go for Def Squad versus Flip Mode on Basketball debut album, The Coming. I love that song, and I know I love that song because it's long. Like that song goes on for a minute. So the first time I heard it, I remember buying that album and just playing it top to bottom and thinking, yeah, Busta Rhymes did it, man. He killed it.
Mm.
And then it came to that tune, and I was just like, you got Jamal, Keith Murray, Redman, Rampage, Lord Have Mercy, Busta Rhymes.
Mm.
So I'm like, this is a disgusting lineup. Horrible. So I was just waiting for who's gonna bring it, who's gonna have the dopest verse. Now this is tough.
Yeah.
So the beat was horrible. It was in a disgusting, grimy kind of way. Just like it's almost like the producer was just like, let me just put on a beat where these guys will just, because there's no hook. It's just you bring your hardest verse, and then we'll go at it. So Def Squad won that for me quite clearly.
Yes. Who's in it again? Yes.
Jamal.
Yeah.
So my favorite verse is actually from Jamal on that song.
He killed it, bro.
Jamal went crazy. Jamal went crazy on that.
Killed it.
So for me, like, even like I said, Redman Fanatic at that time and all that good stuff. But yeah, Jamal, I think he went in on there. So I'm going to have to put him as my favorite verse. Not necessarily the best. It might be. Redman was done that. Who the fuck I be? You cannot see. Yeah, that was hard as well. My man can P. Oops, I lied. Yeah, he was dope too. Keith Murray killed it too. I liked Busta's verse. Lord Have Mercy came in, but he was dope, but he wasn't as dope as he was on like Get Off My Block and all the other stuff that he's done.
Oh yeah.
Like he was on that kind of that Now Went Forever, and he's kind of playing with his voice and stuff, which was dope. But compared to what the Def Squad had done, because Jamal just came in, just two guns in the air, just blasted. My least favorite verse, probably Rampage. I have to say Rampage.
Yeah.
I liked his voice, but a lot of times his verses just, even on the Flavoring Air remix, like his verse was cool, but I think he could have just done so much more. He had the perfect voice to be saying some crazy shit. Yeah, so I'll just say him. Yeah.
Hard track once again. I love the track. Yes, I'm gonna go with Redman as my favorite. On that, I just think his flow on that and just the way he came in, everything, I think he kills it. But yeah, Def Squad definitely got it. And then least was Rampage, and that's why for me I think it was Def Squad got it easily, because I think Busta's verse was a brilliant verse. But you take away the Busta verse, Lord Have Mercy weren't holding up nothing really, and Rampage was the weakest verse for me.
Kind of when I listen back to it now, I think Lord could have come so much harder on there.
And Rampage, definitely.
Yeah, man. Like Lord is so dope. Like some of the stuff that brother said on records, man, that goes over people's heads. He's dope. But yeah, on that tune, he wasn't peak Landlord.
No, Busta held it down for Flip Mode on that track. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, man. They could have had a couple other. I don't know what it was like at that point, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, now Rampage for me was the weakest, and like I had some high hopes for him, if I'm honest, because I thought high hopes, like, but I thought he's got a sick voice, right production. Wild for the Night was a banger.
Jesus,
you know what I mean, bro? That was a banger on that Wild for the Night.
Whoever came up with that beat. That beat was done by someone called the Cut Chemist, I think, did that beat, and I never heard about them. I never heard about them again. So I don't know how that beat came to be, but Jesus Christ, I remember the first time I heard that beat, and I was just like, "What is that?"
Yeah. It's insane. We need to come on in the club and that, be like, "Nah, man." Like, yeah.
Do you remember in Subterranean when that tune used to come on and tear down the place? Like as soon as that tune used to come on, that place used to go absolutely crazy.
100. It'll get pulled back a couple times, man.
Yeah.
So I bought that for that one track, man. And then I think he dropped something with Billy. I can't remember her name. Some singer called Billy.
Yeah, I know that girl, that light skinned girl.
Yeah, he done something, bro. And then it's like,
that second
man. disappointing album, man. Like the Public Enemy #1 or Flip Mode Enemy #1 or something with the Public Enemy Flip hard track. There's like 2 or 3 alright tracks on there, but for a track as big as Wild for the Night. Yeah,
the night before my shit drop was hard.
Yeah. That's the other one I'm thinking.
Enemy #1. He had some tunes on there, some dirty bass lines on there. Conquer the World was a big tune as well. So he had some tunes on there. The production,
but nothing like Wild for the Night. When your single is the best track on an album, like that's not how it should be. Do you know what I mean? So you're buying an album off the strength of a single, and then you're never gonna match that height again. It's disappointing. And for me, I think it was around 97, 98 that album dropped. I remember the summer.
97, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, man. I was excited and I bought it, man. And even the album cover was sick. I think whatever he was doing, bad. Yeah. But yeah, it was disappointing for me, man. But yeah, seeing him live though, he could have done more, man. He killed it live and that. But yeah, good track. Hard Posse cut. But yeah, I'm going Redman and Rampage, my least favorite. Okay, my turn. I'm gonna go with Had Beast of the East. You've mentioned that one, so I'm gonna go to 1-2 Pass It, D&D All Stars. Yeah, man. Primo on the track there. Production. Oh boy, who's that? That's Mad Lion, Primo, Smith and Wesson, KRS, Dougie Fresh, Fat Joe. I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah. Jerry the Damager. Sorry, I can't forget Jerry as well.
Did he have a verse on that?
Yeah, he finished it. He did the last one, yeah. Hard track. Love that track. There's a few track, a couple I'll mention as well that I didn't have them or know where to get them at that time. So it'd be one of them ones where I'd literally have this dictaphone thing, this tape recorder thing, whatever you call it. And I used to record it, like literally point it at the telly when certain things came on TV and have it. There's another Posse cut I want to shout out after. I've done the same thing with that. And you just play them up at the tape. But yeah, 1-2 Pass It was sick for me. Favorite verse, KRS-One, man. I just thought he killed it on that. Yeah, he was just so creative on that one, man. I just thought he killed it, man. Massive, yeah. Them times as well, that was 95. KRS-One was on his self-titled album bag, innit? That's a hard album, one of my favorite KRS albums. Yeah. So yeah, he killed it. Lee's favorite, Mad Lion, easily. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to attempt to do what he was doing, and it's not, obviously exactly rapping, innit? He's chatting, doing his ragga, of course, which is sick. I love the hip hop ragga connection, but yeah, it just didn't go on that for me. So KRS-One, easily my favorite. Mad Lion, my least favorite on that one. What you got? What are you saying for 1-2 Pass It?
KRS favorite verse, Fat Joe least favorite verse. That was easy.
You prefer Mad Lion's verse over Fat Joe's verse?
Easy.
You're funny. Trust me. That's funny. Easy. But yeah, I mean, Fat Joe's verse were nothing incredible, but I'm definitely taking that over Mad Lion, bro.
I just remember him in the car in the video. I was just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
The next person. I don't want to hear what you got to say. Okay. So my next one, I'm gonna go for Crooklyn Dodgers Part 1 and Part 2.
Ooh.
So Crooklyn Dodgers Part 1. I think that's an immortal tune. I think that's just one of them tunes that will just never ever die. So
disgusting.
Special Ed, Buckshot, Q-Tip on the beat, just crazy. And then Part 2, Chubb Rock, J. Rue the Damager, OC, Primo on the beat.
Yeah, that's it.
Crazy, both of them crazy. I'll ask the question on Twitter a couple times, like, which one do you think is the one? People can't decide because both of them are dope.
It's one for me, but they're both sick. But I prefer
it's
one.
One for me too, because one is just got that. I could never tire of one. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
exactly. I can hear that a million times. I know it word for word. The beat is incredible. Just everything about that song is just top notch. The second one is very, very dope too. Like The beat is crazy, and listening to how Primo put that, just like the ding ding, like little things like that you put in there, just crazy.
Of course.
J. Rue's verse was really good. Chubb Rock's verse was incredible. OC's verse was good. But I just think the interplay between Special Ed, Master Ace, and Buckshot, I think it just made it more of a song. The other one was just the very first verse. The other one was more, I'll pass the mic to you. I'll pass the mic to you. Do you know what I'm saying? It was a little bit more interaction. So I really like that. Oh man, my favorite. Why did I put myself in this predicament now? Because I picked it. I can't pick a favorite. It is hard. Fuck, man. When I was a kid, I don't know how old I was when it came out. I must have been around 14, 13, something like that. But I then tried to base, it wasn't intentional, but I was enamored with Buckshot's flow at that time. Because that was when he changed from kind of Buckshot Shorty on the Black Moon album. And then he was going a lot more kind of slow and
slower, deeper.
Yeah. So when he did that hard Black Moon album, then he did the remixes. So Buck 'Em Down remix, I Got You Open remix, all those kind of songs. His style was totally different. And different. Like, that influenced me a lot. Like I was rapping like him and everything at them times. So his verses just stood out. It's just the way that let's take a sip to think back to the year of the 7-0.
Yeah.
The place to go. And like the way that he used to like chopped his lines was sick.
Yeah.
So it just stood out to me, man. I think they all killed it though. Like all of them. Like Master Ace's one where chatting about that dude running around the block after he stole dude's chain. Special Ed. Special Ed's got a couple of lines in there. Oh man, I don't know if I could pick a favorite on there. I like all of them. Gun to head, I'd have to say Master. Gun to head, I'll say Buckshot had my favorite verses because I liked his style. And I can't say worse because no one really.
No.
They all did their thing.
There's no weak link in that song.
There isn't. There's not and because they were all so different, like the way Special Ed delivers his lines, the way Ace delivers his lines, the way Buck delivers his, they're all totally different, but it all works. If that makes sense.
Totally, yeah.
So yeah, I can't pick one that's least favorite for that. And on part 2, Gat to Hat, I'd have to say OC probably. And again, it's not that it was a weak verse. It's just that Chubb Rock's verse was crazy. And then J. Rue probably spit his best verse that I've ever heard from him on. Yeah. So it's just one of them, like, yeah. So I'd have to go with those two, man. Yeah.
I think I'll go with Buckshot because, like you said, because I did think of this song as listing it down, but I feel because, like you said, because it's not just verse and who's got the way it's very hard to separate it all. So I see why the struggle is there. But so if I had to go, whose lyrics stand out to me more, and when I'm thinking about that song, whose bits I quote more, then it's Buckshot. And I am going to go with Buckshot, definitely. And then least favorite, once again, all sick, but least would probably have to go to Special Ed. Yeah. But once again, he killed it on that as well. It's a perfect song. It's a 5 mic song. There's no doubt about that. Part 2, never been a huge Chubb Rock fan, if I'm honest. But he did kill it on this. OC
on that tune. Yeah, he was.
No, that's the thing that makes me say, okay, you know what? And he does, because I've listened to quite a bit of him, and he's not just like we know he's not comical, but he's not just like a animated MC and he's not saying nothing. He's always saying something. But I don't know, just never really gotten into it much. You see what I'm saying? So, but on that track, he's hard. So I'm gonna go with OC as the favorite. And least, I might have to go with Chubb Rock, only because, like I said, I just never really taken to him that much. But all 6 MCs across 1 and 2 all hold it down. Brilliant tracks. And for me to not pick part 2 as my favorite for the beat wise, because Primo's like, you know what I mean, producer, GOAT to me. But yeah, that part 1 just, it's just too iconic for me personally.
It's different.
Do you know what I mean? When I hear it, it's just brilliant, man. Good shout. It's a good choice. Okay, so my time. Who did I go with? Who did I do? 1, 2, pass it. Okay, so Fantastic Four. I'll go with Fantastic Four Part 1 off of the DJ Clue, The Professional Part 1, which is a hard album, I think, man. It's a tiny little bit at one point, 2 or 3 tracks could come out, but that whole thing, I played that a lot in '98, man. But yeah, disgusting track, man. Once again, it's got to go to Cannabis. For me, he just totally destroyed it, quotable after quotable. He's just an animal on that, man. And I remember Pun was in an interview saying that he didn't know he didn't know Cannabis was going to be on the track. If he knew, he said he would have wrote a hard verse. A harder verse. Even that verse was hard, but it's no competition, man. Bro, can you imagine? Like, we were there, bro. Like, how pissed are we, man? '98, when MCs like Pun and Cannabis are like at the top of their game. You know what I mean? And we know Pun, man, for him to be intimidated by Cannabis. Like, so we know Cannabis was a whole
Cannabis
problem.
Was an alien at them times, though.
It was disgusting.
Nobody wanted
like,
it.
When you think about, when you think about Cannabis, but yeah, he killed that track. And the thing about Cannabis, like Beast from the East, it don't matter how long his verse is, you never feel it. Like, you never feel like, right, this is a long verse. Like, do you know what I mean?
Killing it.
He just kills it, man. So yeah, favorite easily Cannabis, least favorite Noriega. Yeah, I mean, he was alright on it, but even the way he came in ruined it for me, because it was like, if you remember, it was like I've got blank, man. Who else was on it? Cameron, I think, killed it. I know you're not a Cam fan, but I like Cam. I think Cam killed it, Pun killed it, Cannabis killed it, and then Noriega was kind of like I can't remember what he was saying, but there's like, it was a break in it, like, and he was repeating something as a sort of introduction to his verse, and it just ruined the flow for me. So straight away, he kind of broke the track up too much. But he would have been my least favorite on that, but hard track. Yeah, Fantastic Four. What about you for that track?
Yeah, I've pretty much got to go the same. If you're going to have Nori, they keep putting Nori on tunes with like elite MCs, and he's like just out of his league, man. So yeah, like, he gets exposed quite a bit. John Blaze.
Oh yeah.
The beat was hard. So now you got what? Jada, Pun, Joe, Nas,
Pun, Fat Joe, yeah, Nas, Raekwon,
Ray. So I'm like, yeah, like, you've got that's an essential posse cut right there. So I have to go for Pun as having my favorite verse. I like Jada's too. So one of them two as my favorite verse. Fat Joe is my least favorite verse.
Surprise. All right. Nah, I mean, it's understandable on that track, isn't it? I do think Pun was doing his writing around the time, but yeah, hard track once again. Favorite Pun. You know what I mean? He killed it, man. It was that track, innit? It was like, even if I stuttered, I was still shit on you. It was that one, innit? Yeah. I mix that verse up sometimes with his Band from TV verse, but yeah, Pun killed that. So definitely Pun for me. I miss that guy, you know, seriously. But yeah, Pun killed that. Least favorite, it's gonna have to be Fat Joe. Once again, I don't think it was a bad verse, but least favorite out of those. Nas killed it. Kiss killed it. All of them killed it. But yeah, love that track, hard track. So I would, yeah, they're my choices. My turn. So Tupac, Got My Mind Made Up, off of the All Eyes on Me album. Once again, hard posse cut, man. Imagine if
Rage,
yeah, disgusting, bro. But I ain't heard a verse from Rage, but we've heard, most of us have heard Dex, what was gonna be a verse. But going by what's actually out on the track we've got, my favorite, I'll probably have to give it to Redman again, man. Not being biased, but you know, there's reasons favorite MCs are your favorite MCs, because they're just killing it. And I just felt Redman, whenever he got on anything, he just killed it, man. and he was hard on that, man, definitely. So Redman would have been my favorite on that. I mean, Meth went in though when he talking about all the musket and all that. Meth actually went in on that track, but we'll have to go with Redman on that one. And my least favorite was Daz. Daz, I think, did Daz produce that? I think he produced it as well, didn't he? Yeah, he produced it, innit? It was actually meant to be for Dog Pound, didn't it? But Tupac came home and just
Tupac was like, yeah, I'll take that.
yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah, it was actually meant to be for Dog Pound. Which would have explained why Rebel INS and that was on it and Rage and that. But yeah, so I say that because Corrupt was saying he was a big Rebel INS fan at the time. But yeah, I'd say Daz, not because it was a bad verse, but it was so low. Like, you can't start a track off like that, man. It used to always annoy me how the track started because the beat's hard and then Daz would come in like almost whispering. Do you know what I mean? Do you remember that? It was just too low. I know I'm being finicky, but it's like you can't start a song off like that, man. It's like it always felt like he was whispering.
Got the sequencing a little bit wrong because I think after him it's Tupac's verse, isn't it?
It's Tupac, and he comes in
all high. With high energy. Yeah.
So that whole first bit,
switched it around. I think they should have done like Pac first, Corrupt second, Daz third, then Red, and then
So it's more of a layout. It was more of a layout reason why I say Daz was the weakest, but he's just started off the song weak. But hard track though. What you got for that track? What are you saying? Got my mind made up.
My favorite verse probably would be Meth on that song.
Okay.
Just the way that he was kind of, I don't know. I think his style fit that beat pretty well. I think, I think he stands out the most for me on that song. Least favorite verse. Probably Daz as well, and only because the same thing as you, like it wasn't whack or nothing like that, but it just wasn't up to the level of everything else that was around him.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? And like you said, the way he came in, it was like, I don't think the sequencing was done right on that song with regard to the order. So I'll go for those two. I think Mess verse was really good, and then all right, I'll give you my last one. Which one should I pick? All right, I'll go on for a few least obvious ones. So I'll go for an obvious one now. I'll go for the Flavor in Your Air remix.
Okay, yeah.
So, worst verse, I'll go first, would be LL Cool J. Because what the fuck we were talking up to this day, like you tried to explain what he's talking about, and everyone's still like, bro, that still don't make no sense.
It was hilarious though, bro. Like watching him talk about that was funny.
Yes, that was weird. My favorite verse, I like what Busta did on that song. Because he was just all over. He was bouncing off the walls, just doing all kinds of shit. He was like the Speedy Gonzalez of rap, wasn't he? He was just like all over there.
Definitely.
But I have to give it to Big, man. Just he's got so much quotables on there. To this day, people are still like UPS is hiring and all of that kind of stuff. If a verse is that like 30 years down the road, Vamusha whack to me, take them rides back to the factory. I see the gimmicks, the whack lyrics, the shit is depressive, pathetic. Please forget it. That was just that was just dope, man. So I gotta give it to Big, man, for favorite verse.
Hard track, man. Yeah, I'll go Big as well. Just even from the way he came in. It was a kind of cheat code having him start it though, which is going to be my next one as well.
Because that was the thing, isn't it? It was Big will start off these tunes, like even on the R&B joint.
Like, because his voice and the flow comes in. Like what I was saying about the Daz, how you start a track is important, man. When you look at Can't You See, Total, like just it's the way Big started it that made that track so hard as well. You know what I mean? But I'd go with Big as the best. But shout out to Craig Mack though. Like I don't think he gets enough props, man. Everyone talks about Biggie for the early Bad Boy, but I think Craig Mack's Project Funk the World album was hard, and I played that a lot, and I still do. I still really like it. His flow and his voice is sick. But if Big's verse weren't what it was, then I would have gave it to Craig Mackman. But yeah, least favorite would have been LL's as well. It's just I feel like I'm really being dark to LL today, but yeah, would have been my least favorite as well. Just you said it before. He's just I don't know what he's chatting, man. Like I don't know what he's talking about. I'll go with another one. When I spoke about Biggie starting off tracks and just killing it, I'll go with The Points, which is on the Panther soundtrack. Yeah. Anyone who knows that track knows there's 567 MCs on that track, and the version that we actually hear is shortened down, and that's got about 12 MCs on it. Like I think it's like a 10-minute song with just like nearly everyone who was popping at the time. So it's very, very hard. Yeah.
There's everyone on that.
Bone killed it as well, actually. So many. Favorite for that one, I'm actually gonna have to look at my list because out of the ones I made, I struggled with that one because I was like, oh, so many verses I love, but yeah, that's it. I went with Buster on that one. Reason being is because the thing that I was a little bit disappointed about in a lot of the verses, but mainly Biggie's, as hard as it was, and he killed that verse, we know that. I just felt like if an MC can't really still be hard and still deliver the required topic, then I think you have to lose points. You see what I'm saying? And when you look at certain people's verses, they're just spitting. Like even Redman, hard verse, Biggie, hard verse, but you're not really talking about the topic at hand. You see what I'm saying? Which was obviously Panther, what they were talking about in that song, Black empowerment and social issues and everything. So that's why I went with Buster, because I think Buster killed it. He had flow, he had content, and he was going hard. So I think Busta Rhymes on that one stood out for me. When I was younger, I just loved all the Biggie Redman verses because it was what it was. Least favorite, I actually went with Buckshot on that one. Weren't a rubbish verse at all, but it was just really short, and it's probably edited for the version that you can get now. But it was just really short. It almost felt like, man,
it almost felt like you phoned it in. Like, there you go, man, take that.
Yeah, and that's the only reason. But I know it would have been hard because even that short verse, there was content in it, but it just felt it was over too soon. So I'm going to go with that one. I know you said that was your last one before, so I'm going to throw out one more and then we can wrap up, bro. We got a list of more, but I'm sure, you can throw out some for the listeners, throw out some of your favorite Posse cuts and least favorite verses, get involved. But the one I think is probably one of the two, I'm going to mention two because they're sort of back to back. Ultimate Posse cuts and Self-Destruction one, KRS One, Boogie Down Production, Self-Destruction, I think D-Nice produced that. Hard. Everyone goes in on that. Everyone. Favorite verse would probably be just for the swag, the flow, content, Heavy D. I think he kills it. And what? I'm not even going to say least favorite on that because I'm not even sure. So for time's sake, but the best quotable in that for me is Cool Mo D. You know what I mean? When he speaks about I never ever ran from the Ku Klux Klan, I shouldn't have to run from a black man. You know what I mean? Just even at my young age, I think I don't even know when that dropped. Was it 89, something like that? Yeah. So I'd been like 8, 9 years old, and even those words stood out to me so much at that young age. Bro. What a hard thing. But what would you say for that track? Favorite?
Yeah, Heavy D always stood out to me on that track. He just had something that just stood out amongst everybody else on that tune.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've got a least favorite, man, because everyone kind of delivered on there.
Yeah, they delivered, man.
Everyone. For me to pick a least favorite, I'd have to be nitpicking.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, I can't really think of one where I'm like, yeah. So, but yeah, I'd say that line from Cool Mo D as well always stood out to me.
Love it, bro.
Even to this day, to this day, that song, that line still resonates and makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
man.
I love it.
Yeah,
such a powerful song, man. So the other one in closing was obviously the West Coast one. That's the East Coast versions. The West Coast done one as well. We're all in the same gang. Once again, stellar lineup. NWA, well, Cube weren't on it, but NWA, MC Hammer, Def Jeff, Tone Loc, loads of people on it, man. So hard track as well. I love that funk sample. Hard track, love the track as well. I'm not feeling Michelle A's singing on it. So, oh, it just.
There was literally no reason for it to be on. There was no reason for it to be on.
It just didn't go, man. It just didn't, and it was just way too high. Like if you're singing, but then when she started, anyway, respect to Michelle, but yeah, did she pass recently? I just remembered she did she? Or am I not? Hopefully not.
No, it was Jewel passed.
That's it. Sorry, yeah, my bad. I was mixing them two up. But yeah, so favorite verse would have probably been. You know what? I'm gonna probably say Eazy-E. Like I just like the way he came in. I know he put him last, so it's kind of lined up for him to shine. But I liked his verse; it stood out to me. I liked Hammer's as well, to be honest with you, man. I got respect for Hammer, man. I know people diss him a lot, but I got a lot of respect for Hammer. For us at that age, 8, 9 years old, whatever that was, we know in that 89, 90, we know the hip hop that we still had access to, and that was, we know it was hard hip hop. But for a lot of us at that young age, MC Hammer was like a not introduction, but it was what you was hearing like on the radio and different things. And that Please Hammer Don't, I know that we're in his first album, but that Please Hammer Don't Hurt, bro, that tape went everywhere. That's one of the few albums that I've had to have multiple copies of because I've like ruined them from listening to them so much. But yeah, I got a lot of, I'm not necessarily going to play MC Hammer now, but I've got a lot of love and respect for Hammer, man. And yeah, even in that video, it's just funny the way they cut it at the end to give him his little opportunity to dance and all that. It just made me laugh. But hard track as well. What would you say for that one in closing? Favorite, least favorite? Who's
your least favorite?
Oh, I didn't say, did I? Oh, probably Tone Loc. Only because it don't really stand out to me. Everyone else's I remember at some point. Yeah, Def Jeff had a really short verse as well, but it was still cool. Above the Law. Yeah, I think everyone. Yeah, probably Tone Loc. Just not really a verse I remember that one.
Yeah, I probably agree with that. To be honest with you, I never really liked Tone Loc. It was just he had a voice, but apart from that, it's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, dope pick, bro.
Yeah, man, nice one.
Yeah,
Posse Cuts, man.
Posse Cuts, yeah, man. So all you guys get involved at the bottom. Let us know what songs we might have missed. If you disagree with any of our choices, also. And we'll be back next week with another episode, possibly a special guest, who knows. You'll find out when you tune in. So from me, your boy Stack, as always, peace out. And my co-host extraordinaire on my left.
Yes. My Type of Hype podcast that celebrates hip-hop and not just the hype. Thank you for tuning in again, man. We'll be with you next week. Until then, keep it hype. Stay blessed. Peace.
Peace.